sing because they're dumb. Often you can say that you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. And I say you can make something made. No one you can save is compensated. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy.
It was tunes like this one and many others by the Beatles that kept floating through my head as I was living in a Beatle world for 3 days, traveling from place to place, talking to people who had something to do with the Beatles. Derek Taylor suggested I see Paul's Barber. In fact, he's not just Paul's Barber, he's Barber for all the Beatles. He said that maybe he might be able to give me a clue as to whether the real Paul McCartney still lives or not. And indeed, he gave me the one clue, which you can see evident in most photographs. It has to do with the hairline. Let's listen to this interview with Leslie Cavendish. Leslie Cavendish is Paul McCartney's barber. I guess we're going to extremes to try and find out for the American public if the real Paul McCartney's alive. What do you think of these rumors?
I think they're ridiculous. Paul McCartney is alive and well. I saw him 2 weeks ago, and I cut his hair, and it's the same Paul McCartney I've been cutting for 3.5 years.
I guess you could tell the difference in hair from one person to another.
I would think so, because if he was another person, Paul McCartney has, when you comb his hair back, it naturally parts just off centre. And if it was somebody else, it was impossible to get the parting. And the parting is still there, and it's the same hair, and it's the same Paul McCartney.
And you've been cutting his hair since prior to Sgt. Pepper, haven't you?
I've been cutting it for 3 years now. And I think it's ridiculous. I don't know what to say.
You don't see any scars from plastic surgery behind the ears?
There's no scars. There's nothing. You know, it's Paul McCartney. There's no scars. He hasn't had any plastic surgery. His hair's the same. Everything's the same. I think it's a very funny story that's going out.
You must see him regularly, about once every 2-3 weeks, for the last many years.
I see him once a month for the last 2.5 years, 3 years. I even went down the Magical Mystery Tour, which was 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago.
WMC
I spent a week with him. You know, and there was nobody else there. There was just 4 Beatles.
They find some hidden meaning in certain photographs that are contained in the American album of Magical Mystery Tour, which I understand was 2 EPs over here, but it was an album there, and they put a booklet in there and everything showing pictures. And you say you were around when they were filming that picture. Did you see them trying to put in any special clues and cryptic messages to the public?
None at all. I think they were there just to work and sing songs and do a film. That's what everyone else was doing down there. And they didn't have time to do anything else.
About cutting hair, how long have you been doing that now?
I've been cutting hair now for 7 years. I've been cutting the Beatles' hair for the last 3.5 years. And believe it or not, they do have it cut. As contrary to some people think they don't. Even John Lennon has his hair cut.
How often?
John has his hair cut. Has it regularly trimmed about every 2 months, just to keep the ends split, and to keep his ends split from not being split. But just because he's got long hair, you know, it doesn't mean he doesn't have it cut. You know, he has to have it cut regularly. So if he doesn't have it cut, the ends will just chop off. So he's got long hair, and his hair's in very good condition. And so is John, Paul, and George's hair.
How did you ever get into this sort of thing? Do they find you, you find them, what?
No, it started off in Jane Ash. I was doing Jane Ash's hair about 5 years ago. And she just said to me one day, would I go around and cut Paul's hair? And I said yes, and from then on, I've been cutting all of their hair ever since.
Do you go to them, they come to you?
No, I go to them. I go around to Paul's house. Normally John's there. If John is there, I cut his hair. Because Paul lives in London, the rest of them live out of London, and when they record, they normally go to Paul's house, and when they want their hair cut, somebody gives me a ring, then I go around and cut it for them.
As simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess your stock as barber has gone up, right?
No. No. They're just ordinary people, you know. Everyone thinks because they're the Beatles, they've got to be something different, and everybody starts, everything they say, people try to analyse. There are real 4 guys in Liverpool who are just normal, natural guys. And that's really what the Beatles are all about.
Sort of have a natural affection for Ringo, because like myself, I notice in photographs he's receding.
Well, his hair is perfect. There's not room. Everyone eventually will lose some hair. But as far as the Beatles are concerned, they've got really good hair. You know, and that's the truth. Some stupid newspaper about 5 months ago said that John Lennon was going bald. I suppose that was another story for them to have a go at the Beatles. But as you can see, his hair is shoulder length, and none of them will go bald. Not yet, anyway.
There's one thing that does grab me, though, is I notice with a lot of groups, especially in the States, probably not so much here, there are some groups who are wearing wigs constantly. And because it is so perfect, it is so well kept that it can't be anything else but a wig. It doesn't have that natural kind of look to it. Are there a lot of groups over here that wear short hair most of the time and then put on a wig for a performance?
Well, all the groups I've been cutting, sort of one of the top groups who would make it in America, it is their own hair. I suppose people think that they wear wigs. When Jimi Hendrix had curly hair and frizzy hair, a lot of groups were copying them. And it does look artificial, but it isn't. You know, it's just curly hair that is, and they've kept it long, and I suppose it does look like a wig. And there's no groups that I've cut that have got short hair, and I've just trimmed their wigs up, because none of them have got wigs. There's not anyone.
When you cut hair for a person, how do you figure out how you're going to style it? Do you look at the person and figure out what would look best on him and try and fit it to his personality, or what?
Yeah, you know, there's people, I sometimes get people come to me and they say, I want my hair like so-and-so's, you know, but sometimes you just can't do it. You have to do it what suits the face. And normally when somebody comes in, I know what I'm going to do before they know. But we just sit down, talk about it, and we just sort of, 2 people talking together, get it together with their hair. I hate to give, it's just all wet and a natural look, you know. There's no lacquer, there's no back combing. It's just that cut the hair, and if you wash it and you want to put your fingers through it and just let it dry naturally, the hair will fall into shape. But going back to wigs, that's just blown my mind.
Well, it does happen quite a bit in the United States, and I don't know why, outside of the fact that possibly some groups figure that they can take off the wig and not be recognized.
Well, maybe so in America, but not in England. People just, if they got their hair long for a television show, and they are a celebrity, I suppose, in a group, people don't bug people in England, you know, they just accept them, and there really isn't it sort of change the image when I go into the public life. You know, people are what they are.
How often would you say a person should get their hair cut?
I think somebody should have their hair trimmed about every 4 weeks. You know, even if you want to let your hair grow long, it comes to a stage where the hair gets weak. So if you just trim the ends off, it stops split ends from growing, and you let your hair grow down to your feet if you want to. But there's still no reason why you shouldn't have it cut every 4 weeks.
Thank you for talking to us.